In this lesson, we are going to look at text-to-speech, the reverse of what we have seen. We'll see an example and we will run the example. Pretty straightforward, just like before. So we have seen the text-to-speech sample, which is this, which convert to text-to-speech. And as I mentioned, next is speech-to-text. And this is the sample for it. And the sample is starting exactly the same way. We are configuring the speech config and the audio config and creating this particular object right here, the speech recognizer object. Then we are calling this particular function which capture the audio from the mic and then convert it into the text. So if everything goes good, things comes here in line number 16 and print this particular text. That's what we are expecting. So I'll put a breakpoint here in line number 16 and we'll run the sample. If you want to debug, feel free to debug to understand more functions from this particular API or object. Feel free to do that. Right now, we are going to use English US and let's see how good the model is. So one of the things which I'm worried right now is my mic is being used by the OBS Studio, which is recording this training, as well as it is going to get used by this particular API. If something is not working properly, I may have to re-record, but let's see how it goes. Anyway, I'm going to start debugging. So once the prompt comes, I will start speaking. So I'm going to speak something. Elon Musk is an alien from Mars and he's building a rocket to go back to Mars. Let's see what we got. Looks like the API has returned. So when did it stops recording? So either you can give some time limit or the silence is treated as end of the recording. So either way you can configure it. But ultimately there are so many ways to give audio files to this particular model. This is just one way to give audio file. You can have pretty much any stream of audio given to this particular model. So let's see what's the text we got. So it is pretty accurate. So I'm going to speak something. Elon Musk is an alien from Mars and he's building a rocket to go back to Mars. This is exactly what I said. Very accurate model. Model is pretty accurate. So if you're going to build some subtitling software, all you need is this particular API right here. And there is a group of them. You can check the documentation for the API which is convenient to you, but the model is doing pretty good, very accurate conversion even for my accent. So that's the simple example, very powerful, single line of code doing tons of things. Very, very powerful. Just single line of code doing magic. Almost all of these speech examples are really, really good. The model is doing pretty well. In fact, all of the Microsoft models are doing really well. Now, a little bit of translations, speech to text translation. So the text will be translated in this case. So in this case, we are using this particular object called translation recognizer. In that we are mentioning a target language as well along with it. So in the speech translation config data structure or the object, we are passing this ML. So this is going to translate it into Malayalam, which is my mother tongue. Something I use to verify because this is one language I can verify. In fact, I'm familiar with or formally able to verify only two languages, English and Malayalam, but you can use any language of your choice. We will see what are the possible languages. We'll go to the documentation of this particular object and we'll figure out what are the languages possible for the entire speech SDK, not just this one. So I want to show you that particular page as well. For example, if it is Hindi, what you will put here? If it is Mandarin, what you will put here? Or Spanish or French, anything like that. So we will see that in the documentation. Being said that, I'm going to use Malayalam because I want to test this model. I want to know whether it's doing the right job. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Even if you don't know Malayalam, you can trust me on this for the time being because that is my native language. So what is the model going to do? Whatever I'm going to say, it is going to translate it to Malayalam in text format. So again, I will be speaking in English and the translation will be to Malayalam. That's what this to config. Everything else pretty much remains the same. No confusions there. So the point which I'm going to put breakpoint is line number 19, which I'm inspecting the text, which is in Malayalam. Everything else is like exception handling and things like that. So I'm going to start debugging. I'm going to start speaking again. Elon Musk is an alien from Mars. He's building a rocket to go back to the Mars. That is the sentence I'm talking here. Still, I'm keep talking because the microphone is listening. I'm going to stop so that it will stop recording. So that particular delay it has taken. So there was a delay. Because of that delay, it has stopped recording. So the API has returned. Let's see what it has returned. So this is the text we have given. So it has correctly identified the text. Let's see what we have spoken and written. I'm going to start speaking again. Elon Musk is an alien from Mars. He is building a rocket to go back to the Mars. That is correct. This is sentence I'm talking here. Still, I'm keep talking because the microphone is listening. I'm going to stop so that it'll stop recording. This is exactly what I said. If I remember correctly, I think the model is more accurate than myself. So I'm going to trust the model and going to look at the translation. Translation is already happened. And all we need to do is to observe this particular object in the watch. I already have that in the watch. And this is the Malayalam for that. So let me copy this, copy value and put it into a notepad. And this is the Malayalam for that particular sentence I have spoken. Let me read that. I don't want to speak too much Malayalam here, but let me read that and verify it is true. This is correct. This is exactly what it is. It means that I'm going to start talking. Approximately it is translating like that. Yes, it has correctly identified the sentence. Yeah, it is saying Elon Musk is an extraterrestrial being. The word Anyagraha that means almost like alien, but probably the correct translation would be extraterrestrial, which is alien, which is exactly true, 100% correct. Yes, this is very correct. And it has translated in a very nice way, if you ask me, because Malayalam as a language, most of the language has different words for the letter he or you. There are different pronouns for he or you or things like that. It has used the correct, very correct translation of the word he. It has corrected that particular translation very correctly, which is very good. Yeah, this is also correct. Everything is exactly correct. I think this model is pretty good. Yes, Google Translator does that, but as you can see, it is all private information we are translating here. 100% privacy, 100% accurate translation. So that's what this model is all about. Very accurate, very fast, no time has taken. So speech to text in a different language, that is this particular example. Now, before I go, like I promised, let's see the documentation for all these things. What are the different languages possible? What are the things we can give so that you can experiment with your language? If you know some other language, you can test the accuracy of that model in that language. But I would highly regard this model because Malayalam is a very complicated, people say it's a very complicated and very niche language. It's very similar to Sanskrit, one of the oldest language in the world, pretty much extinct. But Malayalam is one of the closest of the Indian languages. If it is getting right Malayalam correct, that means that it has done its job and hopefully it'll work for other languages as well. Being said that, let's look at the documentation. Let's see what are the other languages which is available. So there's this documentation page here. You can search for language and voice support for speech service. Learn Azure AI Services Speech Service. That's where it is. You can search for this in Google. You should reach here. And these are the different speech to text, text to speech. So speech to text is the one we have seen. So these are the input languages. We used English US, should be somewhere here. I don't know what is the difference between different English versions, but we have used English US. Probably it is the accent. If you have a different accent, probably it may pick up based on the accent. Not clearly sure, you can test it out. A lot of these things has to be tested out. So this is the speech translation. For example, we have used Malayalam, so it should be somewhere here, which is ML. These are the different other languages. If you know any of the language, you can use that and check the accuracy of the model. Pretty much a lot of languages are there in this particular list, and I'm pretty sure they keep adding more into it. We have seen another very important speech service from Azure AI. And like I said, these models are pretty strong. Next, we are going to look at something more interesting called SML.